All right, hi everybody. Give me just a sec. Gotta rejigger this broadcast you are currently watching. Non-live viewers, just give me like 2 minutes. Skip ahead. Bum, bum, bum. Category gaming. Playlist. This guy. Gotta get rid of that. Nope. Sure. Da da da. Okay, there we go. That should work. Okay. And then I gotta, let's see. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a paid game. We're not doing that one. Nova Hearts The Spark, I've already talked about extensively. This one I'm gonna play later. Okay. So basically, actually, let me open OBS back up so I can double check my work. There we go. Okay. So basically, I have two major categories. This one Alright, so that's a lot of video games. What do I think of them? Well, mostly not much. So let's give a few examples of the games I'm like I just like don't care about. Like I have maybe one sentence to say about them. Right, so here's Gravity Rush, right? Oh, I need to make my camera go. One sec. Okay. There we go. I should close that door. So, yeah. Gravity Rush is part of a long lineage of games that play like Cannibalt. Oh gosh, what was the controls again? So you can see I can jump. But oh no, there's nowhere to jump. But you can fall off the top too. What are the controls? Options. Okay. Space bar, left shift, and D. Okay. Yeah, so I can jump, right? I can switch gravity, and I can dash. And the reason this game isn't interesting to talk about is because it's flawed in really boring ways. It just doesn't feel good to play. So like jumping on platforms just sometimes doesn't work correctly. I feel like Coyote Time they didn't quite get it right, and then yeah, just like you can't, like once you start falling, like switching gravity, you can't undo it, right? I can't go back and forth like in other gravity games. So I'm like fully committed to falling. And so yeah, despite the game like having good vibes, there's just like not much worth saying about it. Like I just don't have much to say, right? Let's do another Underminer. Yep, so Underminer. The whole time I was playing this game, I was just like, I wish I was playing Motherload. It just doesn't have anything new to offer that Gravity Load that Motherload doesn't, and it's just like slower and funkier to play. Right, like, and then you can mine for precious minerals and stuff. But it just takes a while, and it's not as fun compared to Motherload. And like, I love Motherload, don't get me wrong. Yay. But Motherload this is not, right? And then like turning around is like in Motherload, because everything's, I'm just gonna show you Motherload. And I think there's a Steam version of it that you can buy. Damn, I'm playing Motherload, right? Look how much snappier this feels. No, I want to get back up the surface. Well, here we go. Back up the surface. I can sell my minerals right here. That's fast. Get some more fuel. So thanks. And get right back into it. Ow. And my whole thing. What fixed it? First, you gotta mine some more ore to solve to get that fixed. And we're off to the races, right? Like, this is fun. This is exciting, this is fun. Motherload is one of my favorite games of this era because it's just so responsive and snappy. Like, it never feels like it's wasting your time. Sell all. Alright, and then, okay, let's go over here. We can upgrade our coal. Don't have enough for that yet. Some repairs, total repairs, yep, there we go. Alright, now we gotta get some fuel. Fill tank, boom. And right back at it. And you can see that the advantage of drilling a really straight hole is that it's really easy to get back at it. Which is relevant for when you're really low on fuel, because guess what happens when you run out of fuel? You explode! This game rules. Anyway. So that's what I have to say about that game, right? The whole time I was playing the game, I was just like, I wish I was playing Motherload. And so basically all of these games are like this, where either the game doesn't have anything unique or interesting to offer, or like, let's go with 100 Capitals Cats. Right. 100 Capitalist Cats. There's just a million of these on Steam. All you do is click cats. I've already clicked most of the cats. Let's find one cat to click. There's a cat. There's a cat. That's the game. That's literally the game. Like, so when I say I don't have a lot to say about these games, that's what I mean. It's just like, some of them are good, some of them are bad. Most of them are bad. But at the end of the day, it's just, I don't care. Actually, there's a couple of these that don't look like I've played them. I'm just gonna make sure I've played them. That's also what this stream is about. Just gonna make sure I've actually played all of these games. No, I think I remember that one. Collect Frenzy, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna put these over here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna double check all of these games, make sure I've played all of them. I think I've played this one, but I'm gonna double check. Wicked Times. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. It's interesting among the games I don't care about, right? So Slay Strikers, it is a Unity-based game where you play as Santa and you shoot presents at people. Or, I'm sorry, not Unity, Unreal. It is not Christmas. By the way, this was released in January, so they kind of missed. I don't remember the thing controls for this, but it's fine. Okay, and then I think do I just click? Yeah, so you can see it's running like complete ass. It's going at 30 FPS and then a frame dip every time you shoot a gift. And for like running like complete ass, it doesn't even look that great, right? This is the game. So like these are all that's basically been my experience with a lot of these games. And like I'm not saying there's not good games in here. I'm just saying that the games worth discussing are not in here, at least to me. Oh yeah, the balls. Actually, the balls is my favorite of these. Because drum roll please. When I click this play button, guess what happens? Ta-da! It just crashes. All right, so let's get all these games out of here. I don't want to talk about them anymore. These games I do want to talk about. Okay, so Sunflower Pie goes in the pile of games I haven't played yet. Let's see. So, bad but interesting. And when I say bad, I don't necessarily mean like unplayable, or just like there's flaws that make me not want to spend a ton of time with them. But that doesn't mean that they don't have something interesting going on, right? So, Keepers of Lost Arts. This one's pretty funny. Keepers of Lost Arts is an infinite runner that doesn't work. Right? If I just stay on the wall here, I'm just gonna keep running. Right? This horse, it bumps me, but eventually I get back out, and I just keep running. Right, the only way to stop playing the level, like it doesn't kill you, but the only way to stop playing the level is just to die. I mean, not to die, to quit, right? So I press escape, then right, but that's it. Other than that, there's like a slide mechanic, I think. If there's a jump, there's a slide. But it just doesn't go. And I think this. I mean, this is sort of the same category as like the games I don't want to talk about, but. Like, this is the story for the game. You're being sent back to the past to retrieve the lost arts of knowing, thinking, and competence. The lost arts of knowing, thinking, and competence, huh? Competence. This is what competence looks like. Yeah, and also, like, this is running at under 60 FPS because Unreal. So, like, that's one game I want to talk about. I think I'm done talking about it. I'm just going to talk about all of these. So, 3DC. And because I wanted to get the thumbnails, or not thumbnails, the, what do you call it? These little guys, the icons working, I sort of fake uninstalled all these. They're all, like, on my computer, but I told Steam they weren't, so it would be easier to... It didn't actually work. But here we are. So, yeah. 3DC. This tutorial doesn't actually work. Yeah. And that goes a couple times. And then I think your mom, like, interrupts you. I'll come back to this one. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Alien Horizon. This game's kind of interesting. Actually, before we go through like all of the games that like and why I want to talk about them. So these are games that have something going on that's worth discussing, but that like I don't have a huge desire to play casually. Let's see, good but short. These are all good. These are all good games I would recommend you play, and they're all under an hour, under half an hour even. So Manor Madness. It might take more than half an hour to get all of the achievements, but to the point where I was like, I'm just like done with the game.
Welcome to our Manor.
Actually, there's more stuff than I thought there was. Okay, well.
I really thought there was something weird going on.
You're a little ghosty ghost, and you want to scare the human. And you do this by making the various appliances like do stuff they're not supposed to, or like throwing stuff. That should have made a noise, and it didn't.
What was that?
Excuse me for a moment. Pardon me. I'll be back shortly.
Yeah, so like these games are all just like pretty well constructed and don't take a whole lot of time to sort of get the full picture. Procrastinate I have not finished. But procrastinate is you just sit there and he talks to you. What's good? You can jump with W, yep. Okay, cool. Enjoy the game. I don't want to jump off. I want you to do it. Okay. Well, I don't want to. So he just sits there with you, and there's jokes sometimes. I haven't experienced all of it, as you can see by my locked achievements, but I've got the basic picture. I don't know, it's kind of funny. It's a funny little game. It's got jokes in it. That's sort of the category here. Recommend. Oops. So these are games that I thought were both interesting and longer than like 30 minutes. So this one I've been playing a lot, like off stream even. So yeah, you're this guy, and you kill monsters. You get mutations. You get what do you call it? Radiation is your XP in this game. You get more XP. You level up. You get stronger. And you see that streak there? That's how many monsters you killed without getting hit. Let's go with radiation, I guess. And when you get to higher streaks, let's get to 50. I'll just show that off. Yeah, it like shoots lightning because why not? And so like this is obviously like a Vampire Survivors clone. Like the gameplay loop itself is not original. But what is original is the presentation. I just like it. I like the theming. And it feels like it's not wasting your time. See that number up top? The 11014 or whatever it is? That's how many creatures you can kill. And if you kill that many creatures, you just win. Right? It doesn't... Like, other games are like, they've got a timer or whatever. Now this game's just like, survive long enough and kill enough things, and you'll win. Oh yeah, and this is, all of the abilities have like a bonkers mode. And what that does is it just gives you a few seconds of a special ability. Oh, I took some damage from my takes over. Yeah. Gives you a few seconds of a special ability that does something powerful. Usually making it really, really easy to kill a lot of enemies quickly, but you have to aim it in that little time you have. Yeah, so that's basically the game. But just like, it's really well presented, and I've had a lot of fun playing it. And I've gotten all but one of the achievements even. So, like that, this is the kind of game that's going in the recommended category. Not all of these I've played to completion. Some of them are just like, I've played them a couple minutes, or I've played them for like half an hour or 5 minutes or whatever, and just been like, wow, this is fun. I'm having fun. Um, let's see, Tentacat. Oh, this is a demo actually. Whatever. I think that there's a game version as well. Yep. So it's a free. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, Tentacat. Yep. Yellow cutscene. And so this is like a platformer where you can buy upgrades. And when I was doing a tournament with it, and initially, and I was like, this is not going to get super far in the tournament because it just like but yeah, it's just like a little platformer. The issue I had with it basically was like it wasn't quite at the level of polish I wanted it to be. Right. I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like it just happened to be facing harder opponents when it was in the tournament. So yeah, if this, and I'm dead, yeah. So if this looks like your jam, you know, go play it. It's free. And then there's a couple other games I want to talk about. So yeah, the want to stream category, self-explanatory. These are games that I want to play in their entirety on stream. So a good example of that is Qite. A better example is Esports Godfather Origin, but it's split into a bunch of like little missions, and each mission takes half an hour. So we're gonna avoid that one for now. Qite. I thought Qite was fun. Play a little bit more. This game is not for the weak. Whatever that means. Play the hard, why not? Press F to play the hard difficulty levels. Come on. I have to click it, okay. Hello, Qite. Alright, I need a mouse anyway. So you're trying to escape, huh? Sure, this will be easy. Just get the cards. Okay. Oh. Ow. That was something. Nice. See that going gate 3? You can open it by simply saying it. So, okay. Music's pretty good. It might be a little loud. So yeah, it's just like a a platformer-y thing. That just feels good to play. I'm gonna ignore this guy, honestly. You need a blue key to open a blue door. Ow. Probably shoot back. But yeah, you get the idea here. These are games that just like, not only are they good, but they're like kind of interesting to me specifically. Just like Cubite, one of the reasons I want to stream Cubite is because it's very achievable, right? Like obviously this level of polish, like it looks much easier than it is. But like I know that most indie devs given a year could make something of this quality, right? Now that's kind of what's exciting about it to me is that it has these pretty simple graphics. It has, you know, a pretty well understood gameplay loop, right? It's new and original in that it's a quality product that nothing else quite like it previously existed. But it's not breaking a ton of new ground in terms of like the basic layout. What the hell is this? Okay, oh, those are XP, okay. Like the basic way that the game works is none of these mechanics are new. The only thing new about them is that they've been remixed into a new product that is quite good, that I enjoy playing. And these are XP, so you can take a little bit of extra lift risks to get them. I think. Anyway, that's basically the categories these games wind up in. Put these games over here. So yeah, oh gosh, how many games is this? $82. Okay. So we had 82 games that were interesting, and 125 that weren't. So yeah. What is that? Like 2/3 are, or like a little under. What is it? Okay, so 80. Yeah, like wait, 80 for 2. That's like 40%. So 40% of the games that I played. And these were all released for free January 2024. Some of them are demos, not very many. So about 40% of the games I played were interesting to me, and interesting in like I wanted to play more of them. I wanted to talk about them, and I think that's probably about the same number for everyone. Like some people are going to like different games than I like. But that 40% is probably going to stay about the same. And so like the reason I started doing this was I saw people posting about how like, oh, there's a million games being released in Steam every year. Like I'm never going to make it. And here's the thing, right? A little under half of those are free games, right? So if you're releasing a game for money, you're not really competing with those games. And of those free games, a lot of them, like there's a free version and a paid version or something like that. So a lot of them are duplicate. And of those free games, I haven't taken a representative sample of the paid games. But of those free games, 60% just aren't going to hold people's interest. So if you look at SteamDB, come on. So if you look at SteamDB, right? Release year, tags, type, price. Price was 0. How many games is this? 4,000, right? So 4,000 games, 4,000 free games released this year so far. There'll be more at the end of the year, obviously. And let's take these ratios, right? So 4,000 times 0.6, 2,400. So if you divide that by, so 2,400 free games, right? And then a lot of them, let's just call it like a third, right? A lot of them are going to be like free versions or like demos or previews or whatever of actual paid games. And so if we look at like my categories here, for the want to talk about category. So let's see. Romp of Dump. This one's just free. This one's just free. So that's a bad example. But oh gosh. Let's see. Is this one just free too? I think it might have been a demo or something. Explosive Squat Games. Yeah. Yeah, so this one is this one's a demo as well. So like a lot of the like this one's a demo. It says chapter 1. You can see Liquid Light. Anything that's like origin or preview or demo or prologue, those are all like free versions. Let's see, where's Psychopomp? Psychopomp is an interesting example. Let me just find it in Steam. First of all, Psychopomp's really good. I should play it on Steam. Psycho. And the reason this is interesting is because the game's completely free, right? You couldn't pay the money for it if you wanted to, but the soundtrack, $3. So that $3 soundtrack functionally acts as like a tip jar, right? So the game's completely free. There's merch. They got merch. So like this is not something that most people. Heck. I guess I missed the boat on this one. Like merch isn't something that most people monetize with, but that's an option. This is a free game, but you can pay for it if you want to. And so if you are a game developer and you are thinking about, oh no, there's like all these paid games, or like all these games I'm competing with, and it's too many. Realistically, you're competing with like 700 free games rather than like that 4,000. And if we get rid of that filter, so far this year there have been 16,000 games released, right? Let's take a random game. These are reading. Sort by number of players. Is there a sort by? Because these are all games that are like actually worth playing. They've sort of put them up at the top. I think it's sorted by default by Steam ranking. So like just how many people reviewed it well. But if we go to like page 6, Hidden Cats Around the World, 8 in game, and it's exactly the same as every other game that does every other cat game. So there's no reason to play this one. This is a visual novel. So if you're not making a visual novel, you're not competing with this game, because people who play visual novels, like some people love them, some people hate them. Like basically, there's people who are in their lane. They're like, I really like visual novels, but and I'm one of them. I like visual novels, but people who don't like visual novels aren't gonna bother with your game. And so if you're making something that's a platformer, or you're making even a 3D walk around story based game, this probably isn't interfering with you. And again, these a lot of the games are in Chinese. So this one, I assume, doesn't even support. Yeah, they don't even support English. So like I can buy it if I want to. But yeah, I can buy this game if I want to, but it doesn't support English. So that I'm not. If you're releasing a game that supports English. And not if you're supporting a game that supports Chinese and English, and this is, I believe, simplified, then you're beating this game. It doesn't matter what the game is. If you support more languages in the game and you're translated well, a lot of the games that are in the don't want to talk about list, not a lot, but enough, are like they offer 20 languages, but they're really poorly translated, so they might as well not. But yeah, if you have a well translated game that supports, Chinese and English, then this game that only supports Chinese, you're not competing with. It's not something you need to look out for. I mean, this game looks like it's also not translated. 0 in game, right? So like, and then there's also, I haven't even gotten into it. I think it's called Limited or something. Yeah. So limited games, right? So you can see here are the actual, like, the real games released. There's about 3,000 of them. And that seems like a lot. It's still a lot, right, for an entire year. Or like, for an entire year, 3,000 games. So that's like 10 a day. So yeah, that is an issue, right? 10 games a day. If you're the 11th game that day, you're going to struggle to stand out. But think of the average day. How many of those games are competing directly with you? As long as you're smart enough to avoid competing with like really big AAA temple releases, you're probably fine. Limited games, and so the difference here is basically the non-limited games. Those are all of the games you've ever heard of. So if you can think of an indie game, it's not limited. If you can think of basically any game, right? And typically it's going to be the paid games that get unlimited first. So I'd hazard a guess that almost all of the games here, these are all limited. That would be my guess. Almost all of them. So the limited games, if you're a serious commercial dev who can get the sort of like standard 12 reviews and a couple sales, you're good, right? Any game with trading cards, you can't do trading cards if you're limited. So the whole doomerism of, oh no, there's so many games releasing, how am I ever going to stand out, is you stand out with competence. You stand out by saying my game is good and I know it's good, and people are gonna find it. Or a lot of people like release games. This was because okay, so I'm starting with January. The games released January 2024, and I noticed a lot of the games, especially released in the first couple of days of the year, very much felt like someone wanted to be on Steam. They really wanted to be on Steam, and so they just like released a game that was obviously unfinished. Because Steam doesn't really check for quality. They check for a bunch of other things, but they don't really check for quality. So if your game checks all their boxes, then they'll let you release it. And there's a lot of garbage out there. Now, most of the games I played were not garbage. Sorry. Most of the games I played were not garbage. Even the ones that I put in the nothing interesting category, 100 Capitalist Cats. If you've played one cat game, you've kind of played them all. But if you haven't played a cat game yet, they're kind of interesting. A lot of these, or not a lot of these, but like a good number of these are like dead multiplayer games that just like you can't play because like, are you going to track down another player to make them play it with you? Probably not. Legendary Hoplite Arcane's Trial, that one just took a little too long to get going, and when it did, it wasn't as good as it promised it might have been. Movies Tycoon, right? Movies Tycoon. That demo just got taken down, and so I don't have anything interesting to say about it because I can't play the game. They made a demo to promote the game. The game did okay, I guess. They took the demo down. Or like this is a hidden puzzle game. I just didn't find it that interesting to play. I guess you can get like combos by getting everything pretty quickly or whatever. That's the game. And there's like sort of story elements in between that aren't particularly interesting or relevant. But like some people love hidden object games. I'm just not one of them. And so if you're making a hidden object game, then maybe someone's playing Mystery Society 2 Hidden Puzzles instead of your game. But hidden object games are one of those genres that, like, people who don't care about them don't touch them. So yeah, it's like, again, you're competing with about 10 games a day, and a lot of those here are commercial releases I haven't been able to test. Right, like it's not by a huge majority. Actually, no, it is kind of by a huge majority. Let me see. I filter games. So yeah, there's 16. Yeah, so 16,000 games released this year. Balatro, hi Balatro. Everyone loves Balatro. I love Balatro. And if we reduce that, if we say it's only free games, then that number goes down to 4,000. But realistically, even if we go up to like anything under $3, 7,000, right? So about half of the games are under $3. And the way it usually works, and this is not set in stone or anything, but most games under $5 are either like someone's cute little pet project they're not really trying to monetize, or a lot of them are just like not very good for various reasons. And we're sorting by rating here, so we're seeing good games mostly. But yeah, Cat's in China for 79 cents. If you're releasing an action adventure shooter, you're not competing with this game. You're not competing with basically femboy aim trainer. This one has nudity in it. Okay, thanks. Sure. What is this thing? This one actually looks kind of interesting. Right, 22nd. Visual novel, 2020 in the Kharkov Metro. Full audio only available in Ukrainian. Yep. So like you can see that the reviews are mostly like under 2 hours. Yeah. So like Tavern Manager right, prologue, right? So this game's a demo. There's going to be another game exactly like this game, but with like more content later. Let's see. Is this? Yeah, this game isn't localized, right? So it's much less dire than it sounds. That's basically my point here. Anyway, this whole, like, all of these games are games I want to talk about, and I'm not even sure where to start. So I think we've covered Keepers of the Lost Arts. It literally doesn't. Actually, this is the one I didn't want to talk about. Rise of the Eternal. So this game is actually pretty interesting. You're this guy. It's sort of a Metroidvania type thing. Alright, let's attack again. Alright. The combat is a little bit difficult because your range is the same as the enemies, and so you can't just like beat them by just like rocking at them, which is kind of an interesting design decision. I'm not sure if I agree with it. And then other than that, it's just like it has some of the scars of being someone's first project. Like the jump's a little floaty. And there's a couple like platformer like nice to haves like coyote time that either aren't done correctly. But it's a perfectly defensible like little platformer. Not much wrong with it. And like I think this game is a good example of the kind of thing that you're likely to encounter if you look at other developers' games. And like if this was a paid game, it would probably be a little more polished or something like that. right? The person who made this paid $100 just to show it off, basically. I don't think it even can be monetized. Like, I don't think you even can give them money. Okay, it's early access. Q1 2024. Yep, missed that deadline. Oh yeah, and there's this guy, Annoying Crow, who reviews, like, she basically does the same thing I does and reviews every free game they can get their hands on. Unfortunately, the reviews are not very helpful because, like, first of all, they're always positive, and second of all, they don't always make sense. Anyway, so yeah, if you release a Steam game for free, watch out for Annoying Crow. Ow. Yeah, I'm dead. Okay. I don't think there's a checkpoint system in this game, so you just gotta go all the way back. At least the enemies stay dead, so you don't gotta worry about that anymore. Yeah, I probably should have structured this episode a little bit better. Currently it's just like a sort of wandering around, just like a chiller, less structured version of what I was doing previously. Of just like playing games and talking about them. But now that I've played all the games at least a little bit, I know what they are. Alright, this is just the health refill station. Yeah, also, this game was developed in Unreal 5. I have spent a lot of time shitting on Unreal, and it's with good reason. So this game is in 2D, right? Pixel art, all that stuff. Why is it running at 80 FPS? If it's running at an uncapped frame rate, that frame rate should be in the hundreds of frames per second. And you can see that every once in a while I'm getting, like, noticeable frame dips. Oops, come on. Heck. Yeah, so yeah, I just dipped to 49. A pixel art 2D platformer should never have performance issues at all. Unless they're doing something really wild, it should just never have performance issues. And Unreal has this weird thing where, like, Unreal and Unity both don't actually support 2D games. What they do is everything is a 3D object, and it just, like, they're all really, really close to each other. So you have, like, XYZ, and no one can agree on which of those letters is up. But basically, you've got XYZ, and instead of being 3D objects, you know, that sort of bash into each other, they're 2D objects that are really close to each other. They're just, like, basically rubbing against each other, and then you just turn friction off, and that's how this all works. And so in the background, everything is still 3D, and it's true that, like, a lot of the times, even in games that look 2D, you'll want some 3D stuff somewhere. But it's, you know, it's you have to do 3D logic even if you're not using the 3D parts of it, which feels a little silly. And Unreal doesn't perform very well. Which is like, it uses a bunch of resources for no reason. Ow. And so even the Unreal games I like are hampered by the choice of engine. And I know this, like, oh, well, I'm a Godot channel, of course I'm gonna, like, not like the other engines. What I'm doing here is games made in Unreal across the board have performed worse than games made in other engines, and generally played worse. Like, the advantage of Unreal is that it has these sort of, like, I think they call them blueprints. So it's like a visual scripting language, so you can get away with not knowing code. Right? You can just get away with plugging little Legos together and make that, and that's your game. But guess what? That's code. It's just code structured visually rather than as a text file. And so you're not even really saving yourself from learning anything or like developing that skill, because you're still developing that skill. It's just sort of disguised to look more beginner friendly. And like all of those things are, it's just like, if you're making a game, you need to learn how to code. There's no real way around it. And even if you're using something like Blueprints, which has a visual scripting language, or you're using something like Scratch, which is a visual scripting language, or I think Construct 3 has a visual scripting language, those are all programming languages. You still need to know how to program to make a game. And so I think what happened here was that the person who made this game wanted to be making a game, didn't know how to code, chose Unreal because it lets you make a game without coding, and then look at this, we're it's just like you get random frame drops in a game that looks like it's running on a Super Nintendo. But despite all that, I really like the game. I want more like it, because the person who made it obviously knows their stuff. All the fundamentals are done right. There's a couple little details I would fix here and there, but you know, if I tried to make something this good, it would take, well, like hundreds of hours, at least 50. I guess that's basically my thoughts here. Yeah, so let's actually continue that thread, right? Unreal games. So let's see. This is an Unreal game. Let's just review Keepers of the Lost Arts. Unreal. And that's an Unreal game. We just played, what was it called? 77th is another Unreal game. And again, this game is good despite the choice of engine. Look at that performance. Yep, under 30. And it feels choppy as hell. I don't know if that's coming across, but it feels choppy as hell. And there's some sort of puzzle here that I don't fully understand based on these Discord screenshots. I mean, it's kind of an interesting game, but just... Oh my gosh. Also, you can't walk backwards for some reason. I don't know if that's intentional or not. You never know with Unreal games. So yeah, it looks kind of pretty, but it just like... And like look at these, look at that, look at... Like, I can be staring at literally a white wall, and the game will give me 30 frames per second, you know? Like, and this game seems interesting. I want to know what's going on with it, but, like, there's no options menu. You can't, adjust the setting. Okay, actually, there is an options menu. Actually, let's just, never mind. Let's, continue with all the options, so it sets low. Okay, I'm still only getting like 60 frames per second. This feels a lot better to play. It doesn't even look that much worse. I don't think I can notice a difference even. And now that the frame rate is at a reasonable level, I'm noticing that the refresh rate, or not the refresh rate, the what do you call it? The mouse sensitivity is way too high. That's another thing with basically every Unreal game I've played. The mouse sensitivity is just, I don't know. I don't know if I can explain this well on camera, but I have about this much space for my mouse, and if I move it half that space, so if I move it, what is that, like this much? That's a full rotation. So, you know, that's what, like 5-6 centimeters, or like 2 or 3 inches, and that's a full rotation. It's a little much, and the only reason I didn't notice it before was that the frame rate was so bad that I was struggling to get anything done. And yet still, like, they made an interesting concept that I want to explore, and so it's in the category of games I want to play, despite being made in Unreal. But let me see if I can find an Unreal game in here. SCP Role Breaker, yeah, that's an Unreal game. Yep, here we go. It's going to have all the same issues. Yep, so lowest possible setting. Yeah, let's do 720 by 480. Lowest possible settings.
Eh, tu te souviens de la première fois on a dû gérer SCP 173? C'était flippant, mais on s'en est sorti.
And it's still like getting 60 FPS.
Mais ce truc qui foutait la trouille a bougé des comptines et des yeux. Chaque fois que j'avais perdre la raison. Et puis franchement, ce machin ici depuis des années, mais on sait toujours rien à son sujet.
Ah oui, d'ailleurs, t'as entendu parler du nouveau directeur? C'est moi ou il est vraiment bizarre?
Yeah, if I skip
J'ai
this,
l'impression
want to
qu'il en
skip?
dit bien plus que ce qu'il dit.
This is at the lowest possible settings. Like, I literally can't set the settings any lower than this.
Oui, oui, allô, je t'entends. Qu'est-ce qui se passe, bordel?
And
Oh putain, merci, je pensais que
15
j'étais
FPS.
Les communications avec les serveurs ont été coupées. J'ai eu une énorme brèche de confinement, c'est vraiment la merde. Mon supérieur, les scientifiques avec qui j'étais ont soit disparu, soit ont été tués par une anomalie.
Ton supérieur? T'es qui en fait?
Je suis qu'un simple soldat, vous êtes un sort de fou.
Non, je suis un garde Evan, matricule GRD 2961. Je gère les classes D et d'un moment à l'autre, je me suis retrouvé dans un blackout. Je crois que je me suis fait tirer dessus par un gars qui s'enfuyait.
Tu devrais trouver une trousse de son alors, mais par contre, je te vois pas sur les cams.
Je suis juste avant l'entrée vers la salle des classes D. La caméra est morte, c'est normal que tu me vois pas. Comment t'as eu accès à la salle de surveillance?
C'était juste à côté de mon poste de garde, mais avec tout ce qui s'est passé, je me suis retrouvé bloqué à l'intérieur. Essaye de trouver un moyen de sortir de là, toi.
Ouais, je sais, mais on m'a pris la mienne et là j'ai qu'une carte de niveau 1.
Ah merde, tu dois bien pouvoir en trouver une avec tout le bordel qui est autour, mais vraiment fais gaffe, hein. Beaucoup de mes cams mal voient pas du tout, donc je vais pas pouvoir beaucoup t'aider autre que par radio.
Yep. And the light is configured, like the light is configured wrong, so it just yeah, so if this game had been made in Unity rather than Unreal, and I want to say, like Unity has none of these issues. Unity games perform better. Let's see what happens if I shoot this monitor. Nothing. Unity games perform better. They don't have, like, all this weird lighting. I don't fully understand why it's like. This might be just they put the wrong materials on things. I'm not sure. Let me just. Okay, I'm just gonna double check that my settings are all, like, low. Like, as far as I can tell, they are low. Well, actually, they're not. Maybe I have to restart. That's always fun when you have a settings menu that just doesn't actually change your settings. But actually, we can just check. So if I set it to Ultra... Okay, so it does change. That's another thing about these Unreal games. They generally don't even look different between like Ultra and Low. It's like this is the same scene. You can't even see anything extra with the... Right, render distance. I mean, that might be relevant later. Okay, see, post-processing. The post-processing just makes it look darker. Visual effects. That looks basically the same. Render distance. The scene is so the render like the scene is so close to the camera it doesn't even matter. Anti-aliasing. Can you tell the difference? And then there's literally no difference between the resolutions.
Eh, tu te souviens de la première fois où on a dû gérer SCP 173? C'était flippant.
Yeah, so like, it doesn't even matter what the game is if that's your experience. If it just like runs really poorly, and it's hard to see what's going on because either the engine is doing something stupid or the people who made the game are doing something stupid, right? So if you'd made that game in Unity, or Godot, you know, I like Godot. I'm biased, right? So I'm just comparing Unity and Unreal. And this is based on not what I've developed with the engine, right? So this is not based on like this is not based on working with the engines or anything like that. I spent very little time with Unity. I spent even less with Unreal. This is about analyzing the products that come out of these engines. And so when I see, wait, I think this is also Unreal. Let me check the store page, I guess. When I see Unity, I just don't have a reaction. It's just like whatever. Yeah, it's a game made in an engine. When I see a Godot logo, I'm like, okay, well, most of the games I've played that have been made with Godot aren't using Godot properly, and so I've just been disappointed by almost, I think, all of them but Psychopomp have disappointed me using Godot. If I see no logo, that's generally a good sign. If I see anything else like Raylib, that was pretty fun. Yeah, I don't know. And there are advantages to Unreal, I think, maybe for larger developers. Yeah, everyone's mentioning bugs. I believe this game was Unreal. It definitely felt like an Unreal game. Let's see if there's a splash screen. Yeah, it's Unreal. The other disadvantage of Unreal is that it's based on C++, so if you want to do anything interesting with the engine, you have to touch C++ code, and people don't want to do that in this day and age. I'm not a huge fan of C#, which is what Unity uses, but it's easier to work with than C++ for sure. My engine Godot uses GDScript, which is a very sort of cute little, like, very comfortable to work with Uh, scripting language. But yeah, you can see that Unreal is just a terrible choice for a lot of games. And like if you're a large dev team, maybe it's better. Maybe you can actually like make the game feel good at low settings. Maybe you can like fix some of the performance issues by understanding how your game works better. All that sort of thing. You know, I'm obviously Fortnite is made in the Unreal Engine, and Fortnite runs on absolute garbage tier machines. And I mean, either like all the other issues seem to have been either fixed or swept under the rug. But for the kind of people who are releasing games for free, I think Unreal is just a mistake. And there's not really any other way to say it. It's just the performance is bad. And every time I see the Unreal logo, I think this game is going to suck. And I have very rarely been mistaken. And all of the issues with Unreal are present in all of these games and all, you know, a bunch of other Unreal games that I just like sort of put away in the drawer because I don't want to deal with them. I'm trying to find another one, but yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. So if we're looking for things that predict success, if I see Unity logo or no logo, that's usually good. If I see literally anything else, or Unity logo, no logo, or logo I don't, or let's see, no logo, Unity logo, or logo that is not, what do you call it? Logo that's like uncommon. Those are all good signs. If I see Unreal, I'm like, I think the game's gonna suck. And if I see Godot, I'm just gonna assume that the developer isn't gonna be using my engine properly, and that usually makes me sad. So it's basically a discussion on engines. Let's see, there's a couple other engines that are pretty common. Pretty much every visual novel I've ever played, and I've played a decent number, is based on RenPy. Let's see, this one's a visual novel. I'm almost certain it's going to be based on RenPy. Probably just tell us in the store page. Oh, a visual novel. I think SteamDB can tell us. Oh. Yep. Pygame and RenPy. So yeah, Pygame and RenPy are, I mean, they're functionally the same engine because they're so often used together. Like it feels like there's just like you need both if you want to make a game in Python. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very limiting in terms of what you can do with it. Because like Pygame is not a terribly powerful engine. Or like RenPy, RenPy is a visual novel thing. It does visual novels really well. It doesn't do anything else well because it knows its lane and it stays in it. And then RenPy just isn't terribly powerful. As an engine, it doesn't give you a lot of stuff. It doesn't. Here, let's open Godot for a sec. All of these information panels, this sort of thing, all of these tools like this, it doesn't give you. It's basically just text. And if you want to make a game without an editor like this, you have better options. So basically, Pygame is best when paired with RenPy, because it gives you a couple things that RenPy doesn't by default. So if you want to make any sort of minigame, you need Pygame. I think there's some rendering options that Pygame gives you that RenPy doesn't, that sort of thing. So yeah, just don't use Unreal. And if you're going to use Godot, don't embarrass me, please. I like Godot. Use its engine features correctly. What was it? Where was the... Yeah, Alcapot. Alcapot's a really good example. So you can see the Godot splash screen. No options menu. So am I WAS to move, right? But it's only WAS. A lot of the times when a game says that it's WASD only, it actually supports at least arrow keys. But this game doesn't support anything but WASD. So arrow keys don't work. If I pull out my game controller, press the buttons on that, nothing happens. I don't know if I can turn the camera here, right? Nothing's happening here. Yep. And the thing is, the Godot makes that really, really easy. It makes it incredibly easy to rebind keys, rebind multiple keys to one function. I've actually made a key rebinding menu, so I don't know how complicated that is. But the fact that it's just like not letting you, like it's not supporting multiple keybinds and it's not letting you rebind is a little frustrating. And then like the gameplay itself is not terrible. No, I don't have a big problem with it either way. I'm not sure why we're absorbing all of this stuff. I think it like levels us up, but there's no like level gauge, so unclear. But yeah, this is a good example of someone made this game in Godot, and they just left a bunch of potential on the table for no discernible reason, because it literally takes like 10 seconds. Maybe 10 seconds per key, so maybe it takes like a minute. It literally takes a minute to just like let alternate binds work. Maybe this person didn't own a game controller, so maybe they couldn't just like make the game controller thing work easily. But like just supporting like the arrow keys takes no time at all. And then like the fact that there's no options menu at all, like you can't adjust the music or the volume of the music. Right, this, and then like this I like this effect right here. Like they've done some of the things that Godot does well, but it's just like, yeah, or defaulting to full screen. That's one line of code. It's literally one line of code, and they didn't do it. And it's so frustrating to me. Like, this isn't even necessarily about the game, it's just like they are obviously competent enough to build a game in Godot, which is a non-trivial thing. Godot is an easy engine to work with as they go, but game development is hard. So they're competent enough to build an entire game, get it launched on Steam, all that good stuff, and then just didn't use a bunch of the features of the engine they were familiar with. And like, maybe you wanted the Godot splash screen to show off that you're baking an engine in Godot, but if you don't, just put any other image there. It takes so little time to fix it that I just don't understand why it wasn't done. And also, there's still a little text in this game. It could have been localized pretty easily. Godot makes that pretty easy. They didn't do that. understand localization is like non-trivial. Like you have to pay someone to do it, and so that's money, and then like even for an engine that makes it easy like Godot, you still have to rejigger a bunch of stuff. I understand that, but the other just like sort of basic misses, I don't get it. Like support full screen by like defaulting to full screen has been the industry standard since before I was born. This game doesn't do it, even though it's literally one line of code in GD script. Like you just put it in your startup function and bam, full screen. And when I am working on games, generally I don't want them full screen, because it's easier to like sort of jump back and forth between. It's easier to jump back and forth between like making the game. Oh my god! Right, and also the audio is super loud. I just realized this. You probably can't hear the fucking thing I'm saying because the audio is super loud. Here we go. Okay, let's just summarize everything I just said. Right, so Godot gives you a bunch of tools, and this game is not using most of them. So, first of all, key rebinding. When it says WASD, it means WASD. You can't use anything else. You can't use the arrow keys, you can't use the controller. You can't rebind your keys. And Godot makes it really easy to have multiple keys support one function. It makes it... I haven't actually built an options menu for changing your keybinds, but I don't assume... So, like, I'm not going to assume that's easy, but if you want to have multiple inputs do the same thing in your game, it's incredibly easy. It's so simple. Defaulting to full screen, very, very easy in the engine. It's one line of code, literally one line of code. Put in your startup function, you'll start in full screen. When you boot this game up, there's a Godot logo. It takes maybe 2 minutes to put something else in there. Like just put your low, like, you know, the Godot boot screen. You can replace it trivially. I think you can also disable it somehow. Either of those is a better option than just leaving it. And all of those changes take under an hour. And so if you're willing to spend $100 to get this game on Steam, if you like got good enough at the engine to actually like finish a game with it, like all of this stuff, and they didn't do a bunch of these like basic quality of life things, right? It's frustrating. That's basically what frustrates me about this game. And as I said, I just realized that I forgot that the music for this game is incredibly fucking loud. Like, because this is a problem when the first time I recorded with this game. Like the recording, I have the game's audio set to like minus 21 decibels, which is a lot, and it's still overpowering some of the quieter things I'm saying. Well, this stream it. It's just, yeah, let's just, okay. And I'm not going to go too much more into depth about this game, because I plan to just clone it on stream, because I know enough about how the engine works to say I could probably just make another one of those, and my guess is that it's going to take way longer than everything takes longer than you expect, especially with game development. So it's perfectly possible that if I'm streaming it, it takes 50 hours to make a comparable game, because streaming makes things take longer as well. But still, it frustrates me when people are using the thing I like and showing it to the world, and using it wrong to the extent that people assume it's a bad engine. Because if you've never seen the Godot logo before, you boot up this game, you play it, you don't think this game sucks, you think Godot sucks. And Unity had the same problem for a long time. It still kind of does, where because if you're a big company, right? If you're Hearthstone, Activision Blizzard owns Hearthstone. If you're Activision Blizzard, you don't have to have the splash screen. You can just say, you can just like not mention what engine you're in. And so, Hearthstone, it's made in Godot, or not made in Godot, it's made in Unity. Hearthstone looks good, feels good, plays good. I don't like the game design, but that's sort of the last thing you notice. Like if you boot up the game, it looks really pretty, it sounds great, it feels good to control. But Unity's not getting any of that credit because the people who have to use the splash screen are the people who are not enterprise level developers. So like if I make a game in Unity, and they've changed this, you can now disable the splash screen. But for the longest time, if someone inexperienced makes the game in Unity, Unity logo is front and center. You have to see it. But if someone experienced and with a lot of money makes the game in Unity, never be found. And so Unity has developed this reputation for being at the heart of a bunch of terrible games, because all of the good games, or at least all of the well-funded games, just didn't need to use the splash screen. Snow Ploughing Simulator also is a Unreal game. Give it a sec. Yep, there we go. Just gonna see if it's gonna make it easy for me. Snow Ploughing Simulator. Okay. It's not. But I'm almost certain that this is made in Unreal. I believe I saw it in the game itself last time I played. How long has that been broken? There we go. Settings, graphics. Yep, Epic. Yeah, it's Unreal. Post-processing also just makes the game look way. All right, and there we go. You get full screen. It already is full screen, or it's borderless windowed. Okay, whatever. Come back. Loading the game, it may take a while. Okay. So you can see that now the game. Oh god, yeah. Oh gosh, right. And now that it's running above 30 FPS, I noticed the really high sensitivity. And because I had to reduce the settings to their absolute limits, in the game everything looks like ass. Although I believe if I change the settings here to Epic, okay, so now this game, now that looks, but by default everything's at high. So give it a sec. Yeah, so textures, when it's at Epic, it's like, wow, that looks pretty good. But it defaults to high. That's what it looks like when it's at high. So like, what's even the point, you know? We're just gonna leave the textures at Epic. And then yeah, you can see that like this actually looks pretty good as a map, but because it defaults to high, a lot of players aren't gonna see it. This game, this texture it's still blurry even at Epic. And yeah, the frame rate. Yeah, so yeah, this game has mixed reviews for a reason. Game is badly in civil graphics and performance. If it stays free, that's one thing, but if they charge money for this, they should be put in jail. Japanese reviewer doesn't like it. I played it for an hour. Okay, I can't read the rest of this very well. Nihongo, I'm gonna assume that's translation. Oh, okay, so like support for the Japanese language rather than the translation. Okay. Hotondo. Okay, well, Fuyu. Okay. Oh, okay. So they actually translated it for me. The translation is then almost unreadable, so it's useless. Okay, yeah. I wish I spoke Japanese better. Yeah, okay. So, people unhappy with the game. And part of that is the game just sucking. Part of that is Unreal. Again, don't use Unreal, please. Save me the sanity. Anyway, so I think I do want to come back to basically every single one of these games at some point. But what I'm really focused on is I want to make sure I actually played every game released in January. So we're gonna during Academy, I'm gonna double check that it's safe for work. Oh yeah, this game. Okay. It's not good. It's okay. So during Academy, I played. Basically, it commits one of the easiest sins of writing, which is just to be incredibly overwritten. So like nothing just happens; everything happens and then keeps happening, and the scenes just drag. So I think that most people who are trying to make a game, visual novel is a great place to start because your writing is more likely to be unique than your mechanics, and there's a lot less technically that can go wrong. So just use Ren'Py, make a visual novel, get it out of your system, and then make not a real game. You know, visual novels are real games, but then make whatever you want to make once you've gone through that. But nothing guarantees success. And that game specifically, it felt like I was clicking through like a boring dialogue section to get to gameplay, but there's no gameplay, it's just dialogue. So, yeah. Which is a shame, because like, I like the concept, and let me see if the Steam page, yeah, the Steam page is like, yeah, experience the story exactly you want it. Customizable pronouns, bunch of cool stuff. Unfortunately, it's not that fun to play. So these are games I'm not actually sure if I've played or not. We're gonna just try them all. Don't think I've played this. No, I have played this game. Right. This is the online only, whatever. I'll just show you. Let's start again. F10. I don't know why it starts windowed and then goes to full screen, but whatever. This is the game. At least it's a stable 60 frames per second. But yeah, how do I shoot again? I forgot. But yeah, it's really easy to bump into stuff, and it's because the map all looks the same. It's hard to find where your enemy is. Don't like the music that much. Oh, I guess it's literally pointing me toward them. Okay, but I have to go around it. Oh no. There's a camouflage function, which makes the ship hard for everyone to see, including you, so you can't steer it. Like the vibes are kind of interesting. Like it's got this kind of 40k thing going on, but just not terribly interesting to play, I think. I think this is a teleport or something. Oh, it's a healing thing. Okay, Ultra 4. Right. Okay, so I have played Assault Wing. Unfortunately. I've played Assault Wing. Let's see, Platinum S demo. Okay, I have played that. It says so. Unsung Heroes. Okay. Give it a sec, give it a sec. Actually, I guess I can just check the store page. Oh, okay. Okay, played 6 minutes. I should just be checking that. Sewing Masters. Have I played this game? I have played it, yes. Okay. Sunflower. Okay, Shadow. How about you? I have played it. Okay. I guess I just have no memory of playing it. Since if I only played it for 1 minute, it must be not very interesting. Oh, okay. So this it's not because it wasn't interesting, it's because I don't speak Japanese. Alright, sort of. Not enough. Sunflower Pie. I know I haven't played this one. We're going to play this one for... Let me pull up my Godot. Let's give it 15 minutes. I don't know. If it deserves more than that, we'll give it more than that. The pen sword. I like this effect here. The smell of burning skin pulls me from my bed sheets. A pair of hungry sunflowers amass in a tight little cluster outside my window. They stare at me with wide, unblinking eyes. Oliver, breakfast is ready. It's not polite to keep the cook waiting. If it was up to me, I'd sleep forever. But in this house, our dreams end as soon as breakfast is ready. That's actually pretty funny. No exceptions. Say something, stories, know you're still alive. They pulled the locks off my door ages ago, so I need to get up before Mom takes any serious action. It's not like she hasn't done it before either, standing cross-armed in the middle of the room while I scramble to find a pair of socks or pants or underwear. Shame is an excellent motivational tool, after all. Yeah, this game's a little sad. Funny enough, I found out the best way to avoid these situations altogether was to just sleep in jeans and a t-shirt. Sure, it's uncomfortable, but at least this way I can leave the room whenever I want. As long as I look presentable, that's more than enough for them. I just gotta not mess this up. Sliding on a pair of flip-flops and make my way into the kitchen. The stench here is overpowering, but at least it's familiar. Mom waits for me with a tray of something in her left hand. Good morning, sunshine. Happy Sunday. She's also a sunflower? Make sure to finish this before Judith picks you up for church, okay? She aggressively slides the tray across the table. The head of a massive sunflower stares at me from a cradle of flaky pie crust. Eat your breakfast, Oliver. You put something in this, didn't you? The only thing I put in it was my motherly love. Now stop playing with your some tit-sucking toddler and eat. A web-like structure glistens between the flesh of the flower and the pie crust. It looks sharp, like the gills of a suffocating fish. I'll just eat it, I guess. Good boy. I don't care what Miss Lawrence says. Autism is no excuse for being a pig. Jesus. And besides, something tells me you'll feel much less picky after you start trying new things. Obviously. Yeah, this mom sucks. As soon as I grab my forehead, the unblinking eye of the sunflower starts to twitch a little. Every petal begins slowly folding towards the center. There's only one way out of this, isn't there? Oh, thank the Lord. Oh, that must be Judith then. Can I keep my future daughter-in-law waiting? Can I? Not wasting a second of her time, Mom scuttles out of the kitchen. I grab a spatula from the cupboard and rush her sunflower pie to the garbage disposal. There's a bit of struggle at first, but eventually I manage to press all of it down into the void. Thin yellow ribbons start to stretch out of the hole as I flick the switch next to the sink. The vortex of blades makes quick work of my breakfast. Turning on the sink to help drown out the noise and watch the spatula, I sprinkle a few crumbs and twitching petals back into the aluminum pie tin. Not the most convincing display of a well-eaten breakfast, but it's better than nothing. I wait a believable amount of time before entering the living room. Instead of Judith, though, Miss Lawrence is the one waiting for me on the couch. Ah, there's my star pupil. I know I haven't been around much this week, but I hope you and Violet have been enjoying your last few days as seniors. He must be, considering how much time they've been spending together. Sure hope a certain someone's niece doesn't end up getting pregnant. Autism and epilepsy would be quite the combo, wouldn't it? These people are terrible. Oh, Dolly, what's the harm in letting kids be kids? They're both 18, hardly children anymore, don't you think? Well, they're not exactly adults either. Lighten up. We go out in the patio and mow a little bit of grass. She literally just told you to touch grass. Miss Lawrence takes a stray $20 bill off the table and hands my mother a bag of grass clippings. My mother rolls her eyes and stuffs the plastic baggie behind the folds of her blouse. Whatever you say, Louise. Sunday is the day of rest, right? Miss Lawrence is here to take you to church, Oliver. Apparently the Helvig family is having car troubles, with all 3 of their Corvettes in Judith's minivan. Horrible luck, really. If you're out here, then I assume that means you finished your breakfast. Yes, Mother. Good. Go put on something more respectful before you leave. You're going to a place of worship, not another one of you and Ashton's shitty punk shows. Run along now, Oliver. Oh, and one more thing. Say goodbye to your father before you go. You spent a lot of time in the backyard yesterday. He needs to check you for ticks. Yes, ma'am. Hi, Dad. What do you want? I'm going to church and spending some time with Violet. I won't be back for a bit, so... Come closer. I do as I'm told and move closer to him on the bed. I see that the candle lighter next to us on the dresser began holding my breath. You're clean. Have fun with your girlfriend. Thank you, Dad. I'll be home later. Be safe. Well, that was weird. Dad folds into himself and goes back to sleep. I eye the candle lighter next to him one more time and take a deep breath. Miss Lawrence declines to stay for coffee and escorts me out the door. Christ on a cracker. What on earth happened to you, Dolly? Miss Lawrence pinches the bridge of her nose and sighs. Sorry. That was unprofessional of me. Are you doing alright now, kiddo? Thank you for getting me out of there. Thank you for lying to her. I know that's something you're not exactly a fan of doing, but it made my job like 10 times easier. Believe me, she wasn't nearly this horrible back in high school. Maybe it's just easier to be well behaved when you're wide awake, or when you don't have the burden of parenthood to blame for every little thing that bothers you. But enough of that. Let's get you where you need to go. Miss Lawrence lets the Helvig twins, Judith and Andy, know that I'm on my way to their house. She says that Violet will be waiting at our normal spot on the beach once I'm done with everything else. She urges me to enjoy my time with her. Other than Andy ducking out for a jog mid-sermon, church is normal as normal can be. And after a wonderful lunch of very normal fried chicken, very normal sweet tea, and exceptionally sweet biscuits, Judith and I find ourselves alone in her bedroom. It's just not fair. You're skinny, but it's not like you're starving yourself. There's no reason you shouldn't be allowed to prepare your own meals. Judith, the oldest of the twins. The girl who's been my best friend for as long as I can remember. For her, speaking is easy. I close my eyes and take a deep, healing breath. Thank you, Judith. But it's no big deal, really. Yes, it is, Oliver. Look, sunflower pie is probably the newest homeopathic craze sweeping the nation. Her support group likely recommended it to her after browsing the internet for 5 minutes. This will pass just like any other fad. It's whatever. They're trying to cure you again. I can only shrug. Judith's hands curl into petite, shaky fists. She's delusional. Sunflower pie? Seriously? Whatever your mother thinks she's feeding you, it doesn't exist. And even if it did, it shouldn't matter. You don't need a cure. You've never needed a cure. You've kept me in your life since we were children, and that's no accident. It's clear Miss Lawrence did a good enough job of teaching you. So why do your parents even care? I don't know why they care, but they do. You can't really change what people care about. doesn't matter if I've improved, not really. They won't stop caring until I'm either normal or dead. That's just the way it is. Or Judith begins anxiously chewing the side of her thumb. Or what? Or until they think you're dead. Oh. Come live with me. Live with you? At least until the summer ends and you and Violet go to college. You know I can't do that. Why not? It feels dishonest. Oliver. They're only going to get more insane the closer you get to moving out for good. That's probably true. This is a cool game. But my parents are cops. We can keep you hidden. I'll keep you safe. You don't understand. What don't I understand? It's dishonest in more ways than one. I don't like lying to people. That's your reason? Don't be selfish. If anything happened to you because of them, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Don't say things like that. I'm not your responsibility. Of course you are. Judith, please. Judith's hands jolt away from me and slowly curl back into her lap. She looks meekly at her feet. Damn it, I'm shouting again. Damn it, I shouldn't have said anything. What's the point of being able to speak if I'm just going to keep losing control? What's the point of talking if it just creates more chances for Judith to hate me? I feel a deep wave of shame pass over me as I look her way. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you. It's fine. I was yelling too, I guess. Besides, I'm sure she yells at you all the time. It's normal. It's no excuse. It's not your fault. A person's home should be a place of rest and relaxation. It should be safe. You just need a calmer environment, I'm sure. Just let me help you. See, that's what I'm talking about. Huh? You're sure that's what I need? You're confident about it. Everybody has these conflicting opinions on what I need. My parents, Miss Lawrence, you are always confident they know what's best for me. And maybe they really do. Maybe I really am that stupid, but I don't think there's a way to make all three of you happy. It's true, there isn't. Listen to people who actually care about your well-being. Not without becoming something else entirely. Okay. I don't think it's possible to give everybody what they want. I feel Julia scoot closer to me on the bed. This isn't the first time she's hugged me on a Sunday afternoon, but it is the first time it hasn't made me feel any better. No matter what you become, you'll always be my best friend. You give me so much joy just by being that, Oliver. Isn't it obvious? She really is a wonderful person. Truly, I'm lucky to have someone like Judith in my life. But it doesn't matter if she's wonderful. It doesn't matter if her intentions are good. I'm going to give this another 15 minutes. Because right now, her hug is another gift. A meticulously planned gift to make me feel better. It's all sunflower pie, all of it. And I need to start preparing my own meals. Otherwise, I'm just another tick. I need to go. Already? Yeah, I'm sorry. But there's someone I need to talk with for a bit. You mean Violet, don't you? She's waiting for you, isn't she? You're gonna live with her instead, aren't you? No, it's not like that. You don't need to lie to make me feel better. She's your girlfriend, after all. It makes sense. You know I'm not lying. It's just I get up from the bed and make my way toward the door. She's the only one of us that doesn't know what's best for me. I think I need a little bit of that right now, don't you? I see. My offer still stands. It doesn't matter where we are or what this really is. My offer still stands. Please, if you ever feel like moving out, just remember, you'll always be safe here. I will do whatever I can to make this place your home. I promise. So this feels very, very similar to, I read Jeanette McCurdy. She played Carly, or not Carly. She played Sam on iCarly, and her experience with like being raised in a Mormon household was very, very similar to this, where the house was not calming in any way, and the mom was a little bit odd in what she expected of her children and of herself. There are many safe ways to remove a tick from your body, apparently. Emil told me about about them recently. He told them last time him, Ashton, and I went camping. Spinning around it with a cotton swab, gently using tweezers. Even basic soap and water works if you're patient enough. As time goes on and our species continues to find more creative solutions to each and every problem we face, the list of ways to effectively and safely remove a parasite from your body will likely grow and grow. But these are things a 6-year-old doesn't really know. When you're 6 years old, you just have to trust your parents that everything will be fine. So when your father says the only way to kill that tick you picked up in the backyard is to burn it off, well, why wouldn't you believe him? You don't think about how needlessly large the flame from the candle lighter is. You don't think about simply heating up a needle instead. You don't think about how the dirt feels against your cheek as he presses you into it. You don't question these things. You just do as you were told. You stare up at the sunflowers your mother just planted, their hungry eyes glaring at your warmth and your blood like the rising Florida sun. But thankfully, you don't stay 6 years old forever. Thankfully, you can change. Thankfully, you change, you learn. It's unavoidable. Nobody knows that better than Violet, the girl who had to grow up faster than any of us. Nobody is better at helping you think of a creative solution to your problems. It's one of the many reasons that I love her. It's why... No! God damn it, no! Violet turns towards my face. She crawls toward me in the sand, a second pair of limbs twisting around her neck. Her voice is smothered by thick roots and stale blood. Oliver! Please. Run. She collapses into the sand as countless sunflowers shoot happily out of her spine. Her body stops moving, but only for a second. Hungry, the newborns turn their budding heads not toward the sun, but to me. Violet's limbs start moving again. I feel my face begin to swell with tears. You! What did you do to her? Dad. I did nothing. She was already covered in ticks. She was already sick. It's nobody's fault. Shut up! I grab the candle lighter in my pocket and jam it into his leathery gut. I rest my finger on the trigger and stare into the unblinking eyes as Violet's corpse shuffles towards us. Do it. Bite the hand that feeds. It doesn't matter. You're still covered in ticks. You will always be diseased. I feel my blood begin to boil. But then, like cold water rolling over dry, hot sand, something changes. I begin to feel myself age. I feel clean. I pull the candle lighter out of his gut and look at Violet. The wet tears in my eyes begin to clear the heat from my vision. Whatever. That word means nothing coming from you. Face too swollen to talk anymore, I turn away from him for good and begin running back to Judith's house. Judith. I frantically search around the living room. A heavy thumping comes from upstairs. My mother stands in the middle of the bedroom with a hungry tin of sunflower pie. Behind the bookcase, I can see Judith hiding with a rather large butcher's knife. You didn't finish the breakfast, says Mom. Why am I not surprised? I bet it tastes like sweaty dumpster fudge anyway, you hack. Judith makes her presence known. Even so, Mom continues walking toward me, her petals reaching outward with every step. Stupid girl, I was gonna let you marry him. But now I think he needs a little more time at home, don't you? You don't get to decide that. Before I say anything, Judith leaps out from behind the bookcase and drives the knife into my mother's back. Even so, Mom doesn't seem fazed. This isn't good. Damn it. Damn it. I rush over to try and help Judith, but before I can, both her and the knife are flung away with astounding force. Judith hits the bed frame and tumbles onto the mattress. I instinctively rush over to the bed and try to move Judith on her side. She shakes my hands off her body and begins looking around the room. Don't worry about me. Where's the knife? Where's the knife? Eep! Judith grabs my chest and pulls me closer to her on the bed. Shit, shit, shit. You're completely incompetent, Oliver. Can't you see that friends like her will always feed from you until they're full? Judith says, shut up. You lay your finger on him and you're fucking pig food. My, what a foul mouth. And from such a sweet-looking girl. How curious. See, Oliver? You can't even recognize when somebody is taking advantage of you. And that's because they root themselves in the back of your neck. That's why you need to point them out, to burn them off your body. Mom lifts the sort of sunflower pie toward my face. Now, eat your breakfast. Something loud cracks through the air. And a second time. And a third. And a fourth. And a fifth. Grr. Oof. Miss Lawrence stands in the doorway, smoke billowing from the tip of a revolver. What the fuck? There are tears in her eyes. Good Lord, Dolly. What happened to you? Mom grabs her chest and falls onto the space between Judith and Andy's beds. As she does, Judith leaps up and moves over to the sunflower pie. It squeals in agony as she repeatedly crushes it under her heels. Enough. Both of you, get away from her now. The two of you aren't nearly lucid enough. That will only slow her down at best. Judith rolls her eyes and leaps over the bed frame. She finds his knife stuck in the wall and pulls out with a flick of the wrist. Miss Lawrence swipes her sleeve over her face and shakes her head. Already, Mom is beginning to claw at the side of the bed and pull herself up. Miss Lawrence looks at me with conviction and places the revolver in my hand. Don't worry about Violet. None of this is as bad as you think it is. Oliver, I need you to shoot yourself. Excuse me? Remember everything you experienced tonight as you do. Hold on to it. Learn from it. And I swear no harm will come to you. What? Are you insane? Oliver, do not do something like that. We need to kill this lady now. Judith and I will find a different way to get you out of here. This is your lesson. You need to act while these feelings are still fresh. You cannot be serious. You're dealing with matters far beyond the scope of basic human understanding, Miss Helvig. Trust me, this is the only way for any good to come out of this. Oliver, don't listen to her. This is real. If you shoot yourself, you're going to die. Stop distracting him. The gun feels heavy in my hand. Suicide or murder. These are my only options. This is what I've been giving. These are my gifts. Mom kneels on the ground next to the smashed remains of her sunflower pie. Just do what you want, mean. I can't make everyone around me happy as much as I want to. I can't prevent myself from changing either, it seems. And sometimes, as much as it sucks, there really is only one good problem to a solution. Or solution to a problem. Maybe this is it. At least this way, if I change, there's a chance I'll change into something I can live with. I place the gun on the bed and kneel next to my mother. Hey. She's crying, obviously. I'm sorry. You probably worked hard on that. My mom looks up from the floor. You're a picky eater, Oliver. I shouldn't be surprised. You always have been, ever since you were a kid. I know. But I'm not a kid anymore. I just want you to try something new. I know. Listen, Mom. I don't think I can live with you and Dad anymore. I know it's going to be new and scary, but I'm 18 now. I think I'm ready. And I need you to be ready too. What I have is almost certainly genetic, which means, as much as she doesn't want to admit it, Mom probably has just as hard a time with change as I do. She's always been terrified of things she isn't prepared for, at least to some degree. Even so, every child should strive to be a better version of their parents. I owe this to her. I owe this to myself. She didn't say anything. Am I ready to do the right thing here? I move closer to her on the floor and put my hand on her shoulder. you understand what I'm trying to say? Huh. New art style. And she doesn't have bullet holes in her. What's going on here? That was very well spoken. Good job, son. Don't try to help me anymore. I need a couple months alone, maybe even a couple of years. So don't come looking for me. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? She nods. I grab a chunk of sunflower pie off the floor. It rests in my hand, limp and lifeless. Mom and I worked together to pick all of it up off of the floor and put it in Judith's wastebasket. Once we're done, I help her off the floor as well. Okay then, I'm going now. Sorry it has to be this way. She nods, unable to make eye contact with me anymore. I began making my way to the door. Your hair. You used to have such beautiful curly hair. I was so happy when I saw that you ended up getting it from me. So why did you get rid of it? Why? Why did I straighten my hair? It's hard to remember the exact reason, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. I move in and I give my mom a gentle hug, because I wanted to. It still curls on its own every now and again, though. Don't worry. It's always going to be there. She hugs me back. That's fine then, I guess. Good. Bye, Mom. Yeah. Goodbye, son. Stay safe. There's no way for me to know how much of that was real. Then again, it doesn't really matter. I know what I need to do now. I hand Miss Lawrence back her gun. It's done. I suppose it is then. It's tempting just to be homeless for a while. Sounds call, Florida's a nice town, there's lots of places on the beach where I could sleep. It's not like I have that much to carry around either. I'm certain I could pull it off, at least until college. Something tells me the solitude would give me plenty of time to make sense of all of this. It would give me time to write. However, I can think of a few people that might be against the idea. It's so funny. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of the timer. It's so funny that, like, I'm used to these creepy visuals by this point. Oh, actually, I just realized the audio is probably inaudible. And now these anime pictures look equally creepy in a different way. Oliver, I know. Your offer still stands. Thank you. I walk out the door and into the morning light. Surprising no one, the Florida sun is delightfully oppressive. Just give me a day or two to sleep on it, okay? The story for continue in Siren's Call escape velocity. Cool. Alright, well, that goes in the, Oh, I guess I got rid of my categories. I need to redo them again, huh? Anyway, I guess that's the stream today. I don't know. I think what I really want to do is start talking about like a handful of these games on their own stream. I thought I was going to be able to, I don't know. I could also just like sort of let them just exist and not have to talk about them anymore. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think the games I'm most interested in are the games that either I couldn't get working on stream or that are interesting and I didn't finish. Either way, thanks everyone who came, and I will see you around. And also, this stream, I'm gonna edit it. Whatever. I'm gonna edit it down a little bit and see if I can make an interesting video that's not just a live stream. All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming.